Jason from JVA Carpi Adventures, and this week I'm going to be doing a review on my brand new New Direction Bait Boat 2. But I'm calling this review the good, the bad, the ugly. You're going to have to watch it till the end to find out why. So guys, if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe. If you like this sort of thing, remember at the end to give it a like, and if you want to be notified of future posts, hit that bell icon. But for now, let's roll the intro. Firstly, I wanted to show you, this is a medium Sabre bait boat bag. It fits it absolutely beautifully, guys. Keeps it really well padded. These are really good bags. I've had this a number of years now. I think the only thing that's going is one of the handles. But as you can see, it absolutely houses the boat lovely in there. Okay guys, so I've been trying to get to do a bait boat review on the bank, and it's been raining every time, so I'm going to have to do one indoors, I'm afraid. This is my New Direction Bait Boat 2. I'll gloss over what it's got, but that's not what this review's for. This review is for someone that wants to actually know what it's like from an angler's point of view of using the boat, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's a beautiful carbon chassis on this. It will hold 1.5 kilos in each of the two hoppers. It also has a hook release as well. So you've got two main hoppers and a hook release. Underneath the handle is what houses the battery. They only give you a half-size battery. So the first thing from an angler's point of view, you're going to want to do really is get yourself, and there's a seal on this, hence why it's a little bit tough. So you've got a seal. Is get yourself a decent battery. So for me, Alt Technologies 1400 milliamp batteries. I'll give the links and everything with regards to where you can get this battery, guys, but that sits in there. I will say the first time I did use it, it did last the whole weekend on the battery that is supplied from New Direction, so it's not all bad, but of course that's only 5200 milliamps. You know, if you're going for a week for France or something like that, you're going to need quite a lot of those. So that's very nice. I like it very much. The handle's held in place by two bolts. You've got lights, aerial, hoppers. The one thing I noticed the first time I took it out was that it was kind of doing a bit of a wheelie action. So the front was very up, the back was very down. So I wasn't quite happy with that, because the problem with that is if you put your lead arrangement in at the back and then your rig running up the hopper and then you put your bait in, the minute you put it in the water, your bait just rolls all the way to the back because the boat is not level. It's really at a very bad angle. The maiden voyage of the new boat. So give you a little look. Moving the single battery to the front helps slightly. Having a double battery in helps slightly. Having the boat fully loaded with 3 kilogram of bait also helps. But for general use, if you put your rig along here and you have it sitting up here, all your bait or freebies are going to be down this end. Unless you're putting absolutely loads in, that would be fine. So I did have an issue with that. So my resolve for that, or my fix for that, after looking on the ND forums on Facebook, was to add weights to the underside here. So I'm going to turn it upside down and I'll show you them. Alright guys, so as you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit for you. I have actually added weights. So these are essentially just weights that you'd buy to put on your motorbike or whatever to track the wheel properly. So they're self-adhesive weights, and literally I think I've put about 60 grams worth of weights on there. and now it does sit absolutely lovely with or without 3 kilos of bait in. Without 3 kilos of bait, it's still slightly high at the front, but not bad. The other problem with that is the first time I used it and I had a fish, went to put it back out in the night and the headlights were shining up at an angle. So they weren't pointing at the island I was going for, they were pointing at the guy's bivvy opposite me. So it does make a difference. You really could do with being weighted properly, and I think that's one of the things you need to do, guys. So that is with 2 full strips on either side, 2 kilos of bait in, and it is actually sitting lovely and level, and I'm very happy with that. Alright guys, I'll just cover very briefly the power on sequence and basic controls that you've got. So always initially power on, which is a long press until the buttons light up. Then you're going to wait for it to get to a series of bleeps. In fact, it's always bleeping until it's fully registered. So when you've got that, power the boat on, it'll flash. It'll also make some bleeps. And that kind of indicates it's trying to find GPS coordinates. There we go. Now ready to use. Lights are at the front. On the top button, home position, point A, B, C, D. Selecting your points is quite easy. You press the channel button at the top, keep pressing it through the points. When you're happy with one, you press the enter button, which is the one underneath. So it's fairly straightforward, but you can also use it by the app, guys. So I'm going to show you a few of the things on the app now. Alright guys, so now I'm just showing you starting up the ND Tackle app, which will show you the voltage, will bleep, shows you where you are, loading all the points. So the important thing about the app is when you first get to somewhere, make sure you get your mobile data on, and it will show you exactly the lake. So it will allow you to zoom in, so on and so forth. So just going through the app from top to bottom, some of them aren't relevant that much, but the top is going to be your hopper release. So you've got hoppers 1 and 2, hook release. You've then got to set your points. So you literally press where you want to go, hit mark, and it will select my home point. Then you drive the boat to whatever place you want to go, select the next point and hit mark. If you then want to go back to your home position, you simply click the home position underneath it and it bleeps when it lets you know you're there. Underneath that are the lights on the boat. That's if you want to stop. So the other things now that are on the boat, which are quite interesting, is you can set your boat to do mapping. If you've got a deeper on there, which I do own, you can set it to do mapping. So that's a case of putting this on, putting the 4 points that you want it to map. Look at this, guys. So the boat is automatically now mapping out the lake for me. So on the ND Tackle bait boat app, you predetermine an area, so 4 points. It works out the best way to map it. You hit start and it goes off and maps the lake for you. How cool is that? It'll bleep again in a minute. Just stopped. Look at that, right up to the margin there. How cool is that, guys? That's so awesome. So, what is it like on the bank driving it? Well, you have a single-handed remote, which, I'll be honest, is absolutely brilliant, really. It allows you, I mean, I'm right-handed, so it allows me to drive with my right hand, hold the rod with my left, have the tip down, and get a really good line lay. Now, if I had to be really picky, the only thing I would say is I find on this there's not quite a lot of proportional control, meaning if I put it a tiny little bit forward, the boat generally doesn't go a slow forward. It tends to be more of a medium to fast pace rather than a really slow pace. So that's something to bear in mind. You totally get used to it. So one of the things that's quite important to do when you first put the boat in the water, guys, is to press both of these buttons at the same time for it to do a calibration. Hopefully I've got some footage of that to show you. That's it, just doing the calibration, guys. Should do that every time you put it first in the water. So this as it is indicates I've got a home position and 3 other positions recorded in here, okay? And to go to any of those positions, it's simply a case of pressing the relevant button and it will autopilot out once you have purchased the autopilot. So the basic bait boat is £550. You pay an extra £199 to have the autopilot feature enabled. It is already, the technology is already within the boat, but unless you get it enabled, it doesn't work. And all you'll see is, I'm going to show you on the app, all you will see is essentially, initially when you first get it, at the autopilot bit at the bottom, it will say invalid. Once you've actually got it, it will just say autopilot at the bottom. Make sure you have Bluetooth enabled, guys, and also when you first get somewhere, make sure you have mobile data. So if you're using a tablet, you might want to, if it doesn't have a SIM card in it, you might want to tether it to your phone. So something I've learnt, I use this with my Deeper practically every single time. So when I do, I will go to the bank, I will turn on the app with mobile data on, it will bring up a picture of the area. When you've set all your points, in fact I might be able to load up some points from a lake, so let's try that. You've got a few buttons up here that you can just press. You can go to your spots, you can load your spots from any of the places you've been, wherever you've saved them. I will go Temple, go across, hit load. You can hear it saying success, so it's loading up those 3 points as well as the home point. So along with some of the features on the app, I want to show you, obviously it will show you your voltage, the CPU temperature of the boat, your Bluetooth reception and your GPS reception. Hi guys, so obviously I've labelled this review as the good, the bad and the ugly. So let's cover them off. The good. As you would have seen during the review, it is one really good looking boat. I mean, you look at it and you're like, wow. I was so happy unboxing it. It was like super beautiful looking boat. It will take 3 kilograms of bait out, so 1.5 kilos in each hopper. You've got a hook release as well as the hoppers. You've got lights. It's got built-in GPS. You can also have autopilot enabled for an extra £200. So effectively £750, and you've got a fantastic looking bait boat with GPS, autopilot, mapping facility. I mean really it's in my eyes, and the reason I bought it, the best value for money bait boat out there. So one other thing that I would class as being good about this bait boat is that it has a single remote that you can use, and that allows you to control the boat with one hand, meaning you can use your other hand to hold your rod, dip it down in the water and get a really good line lay. So that's a really good plus. My last remote was 2 hands, and you know, even though I felt it was comfortable and all the rest of the time, using the ND remote is definitely better. 100%, no doubt about it. Obviously you've also got home points on there that you can set. Fantastic, really good. And then you come to the app, and the app is a bit of a game changer, guys. Bearing in mind you can use the app even without buying the autopilot. You can have the, as long as when you, like I said, when you get to the lake, you have mobile data on, it will load up the lake for you. You can then save all your spots for that lake. Even without the autopilot, you can save your spots, and then you can drive your bait boat out and it will click, it will bleep when you get to your spots. So the benefit of the autopilot is it will take it there for you and it will come back to home for you. Also, if you wanted to use the mapping feature, it will do the zigzagging and all the rest automatically for you. So I would thoroughly recommend the autopilot, but you can survive without it, guys. That's the good part. The bad part. Okay, yeah, I did find it is a bit tail heavy. So I've added some weights to the front of it to make it more to my liking. Some people will be happy or won't have a problem with the tail being heavy because they generally use quite a lot of bait, and that will level it out. That's your preference, guys. You know, once you've bought this bait boat, it's yours. You use it how you want to use it. Also, when these bait boats first came out, you used to get a full length 10 amp battery with it. Now they give you a half length 5200 milliamp or 5.2 amp battery with it. And I totally understand that, guys. You know, costs all around the world have shot up in the last couple of years. So I actually think, even though it's in the bad part, I actually think it's really probably one of the good things, because they could have put the bait boat up even more than they have. When it first came out, it was $499. Now it's $550, and yes, you get a lesser capacity battery. But in the scheme of things of how prices are nowadays, it's probably still a good point, guys. You can always upgrade your battery. ND do batteries, I think they're £59, and you can get a wire adapter and you can use two of ND's batteries together. Or you can buy an uprated battery as shown during the review. Those are really the only negative points that I could give about the bait boat. And of course, as I did mention, you don't kind of have a slow, medium, fast speed. You tend to have more of a medium and fast speed, but that's not something I'm going to class as bad. That's just the way it drives. Hi guys, so now we come to the ugly bit, which I'll be honest, I'm not really happy about doing, but I do feel I have to, because obviously I need to let you guys know about my experience with ND, and the boat side of it's all beautiful. But when I came to look up the information for this review, I noticed that when I purchased the boat, and still on their site today, it's advertised as being sold with a 3 amp charger. But actually they supplied me a 5 amp charger. And looking through Facebook ND group, it seems most people nowadays, or literally everyone nowadays, has been supplied with a 5 amp charger, which isn't necessarily as good as the 3 amp charger. The reason for that is, if you always fast charge batteries, they tend not to last quite as long. I'm sure ND would probably dispute it, but that's generally the fact of it. So via Facebook Messenger, I got in touch with Gary from ND and said, hi, recently bought a boat and I was supplied a 5 amp charger. Could I get a 3 amp charger, please? And I can't say I was very impressed with his reply. So I did tell him I was doing a review and all the rest, and luckily he said, as in one of his responses, publish away. So I've decided it would just be better to show you this transcript of our conversation, and you can see if you think that's good customer service or not. So for me, the ugly part is, on this occasion, I have received appalling customer service from ND, to the extent of them calling me childish, which for someone who's spent over £1,000 with them, I wouldn't expect that, guys. And I can absolutely guarantee you I wouldn't be buying any more products from ND. Even though I really do like the boat, I will purchase myself 3 amp charger, but I wouldn't be buying anything else from ND. Not with that sort of customer service. That's disgusting in my eyes. Right, so in closing, would I recommend the Bait Boat 2 from New Direction? Absolutely guys, I would. I mean, it really is great value for money. You have a beautiful carbon fibre bait boat capable of putting out 3 kilos of bait, either via the handheld controller or via the app with autopilot enabled. I mean, I don't see there's much out there for the same cost that is as good, to be fair. So yeah, 100% I would recommend it. There's so much good feedback about the Bait Boat. Sure, as you would with all products, there's going to be some negative feedback, guys. But from an angler, I'm enjoying using it, and I'm sure I will continue to enjoy using it. And I can't wait to get to France and use it, because that's where I think it will come into its own when, you know, it's got to go out 165 metres to the other side of the bank for me. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend the Indy Bait Boat 2, guys. But I hope you've really enjoyed watching this review, and I hope you'll also subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up for me, and if you want to be notified of future posts, don't forget I do vlogs, I do bait making, I do reviews. Hit that bell icon. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe and stay fishing.